mean, the thing is, Earth Spirit has three pretty interesting ones that I think he suffers from the whole, I'm not really sure which one I should pick, and it's depending on your playstyle, right? I think if you're used to the more sort of traditional Earth Spirit, you're gonna go for something like the Resonance, where you're gaining attack damage for each magnetizing Stone Remnant. But that, you know, maybe in the off lane, he's just thinking, I'm sure there's some sort of style that he's trying to propagate here, so I'm just interested to see it, because the other two are nice, but they don't really define a playstyle as much as this.
Well, fair enough, and maybe the remnants just aren't as important on this offlane Earth Spirit. But the magnetize is going to be my big question. Wrap around, pretty big.
Oh, they are in deep, and I think they should have just spotted WS here. There's a ward placed on the high ground, and Execration. They are deciding to kind of just bide their time a little bit. Maybe they're waiting in the wings for, you know, I don't know, Bosku or even Akashi to show in lane, and they'll just opt for that kill instead. But that might just mean they miss out on some early bounty runes. The fact that Talon don't see anyone on their mid ward as well, it's starting to raise some questions, and Akashi, he's playing as safe as possible. Now they will run into Bosku, Disruption, and the shards. This is looking like a very, very dead Bristleback, but it will allow Talon to have priority in terms of securing most of these runes. So, okay, they're not going to try and push the issue. They're just securing the ones on their side of the map. They don't want to run any more heroes into this early grinding machine that is Execration. Yeah. But first blood on the board, very nicely done.
Yeah, onto this annoying Bristleback too. You know, it's not game ending for the Bristle, it's just first blood, but still a hamper on the hero, right? It's a good start of the hero that you're going to want to be killing down here. Right? If you cannot get on and kill this Bristleback throughout the game, it's going to be quite problematic. The Nasal Goo is insane this game, right? You've got Bristle, Sniper, Pango, Mars, Nature's Prophet. Literally all of these heroes do a burst of physical damage, or not a burst, but it's consistent physical damage, as well as a little bit of a burst of magical.
Three members of Execration up in this top side. The surprise tri-lane always works out so nicely with the task, and they catch them off guard, getting 2 more kills on the board. Execration starting to get rolling really nice and early. And, you know, Tino might be suffering a little bit because you were gassing up about this Bristleback, right? He's just been non-stop spamming Viscous Nasal Goo on Tino, who's being single-handedly chased back by Ironwood Trien. So it's Bristle Nasal Goo plus Ironwood Trien just beating up this poor Earth Spirit. But it's coming at the cost of WS not really having much of a lane as well.
Yeah, as long as this tri-lane exists, as long as Shanks has not showed in lane, both WS and Yokum are going to be in precarious position if they get wrapped on by 3 heroes again without their TP scrolls.
Yeah, take a look at WS. He on these heroes too. Yeah, WS is in some degree of trouble, but it's only if they can line up a secondary disable. They're trying to just work with the slows right now. There's God's Rebuke available. And Yokum able to just wear them back a little bit.
Are they committing to this tri-lane? It looks like they are.
Okay, well, does that mean that they're just sacking Tino then? Because Tino is, I don't know if you've sort of had a glance down bot lane, but the man is doing that. He is exercising the most unique blend of roles and positional choices to try and get the most out of this lane. Looks like Yokum. I mean, why would you not commit to this tri-lane if it's just going to be a kill generator, right? At some point, WS or Yokum have to walk up to try and get some of these last hits. And sure, the lane is about to crash into the tower eventually, but for now, CS-wise, 5-1. WS isn't doing too hot, and EXP as well, he's being denied a lot.
No, it's rare to see a tri-lane get level 2 before the safe lane, or I guess any sort of duo. Right, it's very, very rare, but it happened here, and we're gonna hit level 3 on the wind as well before Yokum's even level 1 or level 2. Just hits it now. But level 2 Sniper, who cares, right? It's not till that level 3 that you're gonna be. Oh my God, Shanks, get out of here, dude! Leave them alone. Tino is still alone in the bottom
harassment.
lane.
Oh, I mean, dude, they know he's here now, but it doesn't make a difference, right? Because they're having to spend resources, they're having to be wary of them, and looks like they're getting a setup as well. The drinking buddies, they've caught WS. the shards, forcing him into a very awkward position, and WS is gonna go down again. If it ain't broke, nothing to fix here, and Talon continue to suffer losses up here in this top lane.
You know, Sneeze, we talked about a blast from the past of the Execration versus Talon, and now we're getting a tri-lane as well. This is certainly a blast from the past. Tusk will finally
this is
leave
some
this
vintage
lane
Dota 2, man.
Yeah. Finally, to the mid lane, Shanks goes. Just for now, he's going to probably go back up after this 4-minute rune. But finally, Tino suffers from the success of the tri-lane up top. Finally falls. Still 4 CS to his name.
Yeah, this is one of those moments as an off-laner where you're getting sacked and you know it's for the good of your team. And then your team's just mad. Like WS and Yokum, they're like, yo, are you guys gonna get a kill or like you guys gonna come help us or something? And they're just like, yeah, we're farming. And they aren't necessarily lying as well, right? WS is getting completely sacked right now. Just absolutely dogged, buried under the dirt. Not really what you kind of usually see from this player. And as a result, Mikoto's having a stellar lane, Akashi's having a stellar lane. I'm just wondering whether this trade-off is worth it. What do you think, Crash? Because you were talking about how this sniper as a support really is strong in the early game. You're kind of omitting that timing. The Mars as well, right? Not really a hero that scales very well, especially if you're having such a rough start.
You are, but the good news is you're still going to have a player to play behind, right? Mikoto is still doing well in lane, very well in lane. So you do have potential. Mars is a hero that really only needs his level 6. He's going to be very delayed in getting it because this lane sucks, but he's going to get it eventually. And at that point, you can start making moves. Mikoto, I'd like to see him get his level 6 and rotate to the top lane. Sort of help out WS because he desperately needs it.
Well, we'll see whether that's the case. First rotation, Lewis in the bot lane. Slowed down by the Viscous Nasal Goo though. Akashi. Here comes Yokum as well. Tries to TP away, but can't get it done, and he's just gonna get killed. The second TP, Akashi on his heels doesn't really have enough attack damage to punch through that thick rock at the moment. Now it's WS who's gonna suffer again. The Tusk isn't here, but the slow from the power shot. He's gonna try and TP away. Just enough damage from the poison. And it's got to be painful. I mean, no, off-laners, close your eyes. It's been a rough one for these two at the moment.
Yeah, please avert your gaze, off-laners. This is not the game for you. That's right, we're back to tri-lanes.
This is, dude. You ever sort of you know, Dota players aren't really the most empathetic people, you know, everyone's quicker to blame than they are to try and understand.
Yeah.
But you ever like get secondhand like embarrassment, just like, you're just like, you know how that feels in that position, right? Like it's for the greater good, it's part of your team's plan, and I'm sure these players are, you know, used, or at least they understand that they're taking a shot for their team, but it's still gotta feel a little sour. I mean, I know I would.
It's still taking a shot, it's still gonna hurt.
The CML trying to steal the Wisdom Rune, but nice little spear pushes the Shadow Demon away. So they get a dominating kill streak on WS, but Yokum gets sniped down by a very nice long-range power shot. It looks like Lewis is making a rotation over as well. He knows that WS wants to soak up as much of this EXP as possible, but he will show on the wave, so Jig is up. No kill potential, but it's once again just putting WS in an uncomfortable position. So much focus on this player from Execration right now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Alright, Mikoto, make a move to help your team get back into this game. You've got the Rolling Thunder. Should want to use it.
Oh, nice try on the shots. Can you get the roll in time? Just around the bend. Quick little 3-point turn for Mikoto to get it done. He's rolling over as well. Tino, he still has the rolling boulder available, but waiting for the backup, I guess. You know, just biding his time. I'm not really sure he's waiting for this. Kind of scary. Maybe waiting for Lewis to come in and trample down onto Bosku. Nice disruption, gonna allow Tino to escape. Mikoto, now in an awkward position. There's still the Primal Beast pulverized, and there we go. But Mikoto is a very tanky boy, and now with the double jump into the shield crash, he is still standing his ground. As a final roll, Tino knows his limits well and has baited Mikoto in very nicely. Oh, still bumped up, not to the high ground though, but the double jump. The poison, it's not enough. They need the kick, it's not gonna ledge. Mikoto survives. And the roll, oh, they sidestep it. Bosku now gonna start slowing up Tino, but he has the magnetize, starting to go the world onto Mikoto, but again the double shield crash. Who is this guy, Olympic athlete or something? Acrobatics non-stop. Mikoto with a double kill. Who else but Mikoto could have pulled that off? Tell me that right now.
You know what that would be? That would be a 50-50. That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing I can see it being, right? Is good old
this
not
is like
getting out of this.
I mean, I guess more recently you'd pause it and Suns fans' voice would come in and say, "What the horse happens next?" Like that's like such a classic. You know, my goodness. I mean, I feel like the only one who would be able to pull something like that off would be like Quinn or something like that. It was just masterful.
Smooth moves on the Pangolier for sure, showing off that Master's badge.
Yes, I just did that. Very nice.
Yeah, you did just do that, Tino. You did indeed. WS, we're nearing the 10-minute mark, and WS is just about to hit level 6.
Easy
Is
on
this
the road
even
to
a
recovery,
game where
okay?
you
Don't mind
arena?
him.
I would hold my point
Yeah?
right now.
Yeah.
Like, you're not leaving lane, really. How much is arena gonna do for you? I would assume you level it, but holding the point for sure to start.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the perspective is exactly what we're seeing here, where, you know, you're not leaving the lane, but Mikoto really wants to come up and clean up this Wind Ranger and just punish her. And that's exactly what happens. Mikoto, the big playmaker for the team. Like you mentioned, Crash, from the start, sure, WS is taking a hit, and sure, Akashi is having a decent lane, but it's Mikoto we have to keep our eyes on, because he's in a position to just make matters happen. And Lewis hasn't really been able to mirror the moves in as much of a meaningful way.
This is one of the larger disparities that I've seen 10 minutes between cores. Right, Pango 5-5, Primal Beast just about to hit 4, but these offlaners are so far behind. Both of them are not in a good position right now.
WS taking a Shadow Demon ultimate randomly. I guess that was just the slowest approach with the potential arena. But they get the tower, get what they came for, and Mikoto straight back to mid. I want to sort of jog everyone's memory back to the draft as well, where Execration were the ones in the last pick, and they were the ones who selected this Primal Beast mid, right? And on paper, understandable. Crash, I know you used to tell me a lot about how this matchup was lopsided for Primal Beast, but it's not really looking that way, and it doesn't look like it's going to be that way at all for Mikoto.
No, it's definitely like a skill-based matchup between the two heroes, and it definitely favors the Primal Beast, right? It's up to the Pango to use the skills well, rather than it is the Primal Beast. Like, obviously you need to capitalize off it, but knowing when Pangos use Swash to initiate the Primal, that's easy, right? It's easy to figure that out. Anyone can do it. Almost anyone can do it. But as long as you hold your spells, you play smart and proper on the Pangolier, which we've seen Mikoto do the laning stage and then again earlier on in the bottom lane. As long as you play nice, clean Dota, it should be fine. And we see the laning stage working out very well in Makoto's favor, because he played it safe, he played it clean.
Yeah, and speaking about the mid laners, I feel like the off laners were suffering a lot, but both kind of have a similar recovery strategy, right? They're not necessarily the best farmers, but they want to get involved in kills with their team, Tino especially. But the fact that he hasn't really been able to and has been left on a little bit out of an island, he does get the bot tier 1 tower on the Radiant side, so that's a good start. But now it's Talon who are the ones who are pressuring mid, and Execration, they had a smoke move all the way down to the bot lane to maybe try and find Akashi. But he's farming safely in the triangle. He's nowhere near to be seen, and they're a bit late to this defense. They'll just basically lose that tier 1 in the mid lane for free.
They did get a nice deep ward as a sort of rebuttal for missing the Nature's Prophet gang. They just barely got him, but Akashi was wise to the moves. Gets on out of there. Just barely, but he still gets out.
Yeah,
Vanguard
Akashi,
first item
complete for him already, and Vanguard first item, who are we looking at? Is that
we're looking at Earth Spirit, so we should be transitioning into a first item Crimson Guard, which, like we talked about, right, is all physical damage coming out from Talon, really. You do have bursts of magical, but that is by no means the strength of your draft. right? Consistent physical damage is the way that they're going right now on Talon.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting because I think in terms of what builds I could potentially hypothesize, it would be something like maybe, you know, I don't know whether you want to do like a Greaves or something like that, or whether it would have been something like a Blade Mail. I think that's a bit more quote-unquote traditional. But it's clear that Tino has a specific blend of Earth Spirit that he's trying to make work that, you know, we just haven't really seen before. He wants to be that annoying frontliner, just disabling up the Talon lineup and maybe putting them in an awkward spot and just at the same time being a very difficult object to remove. We'll see whether that ends up being the case. For now, very much addressed and hasn't really found any action. Speaking of action, it's a 2k gold lead now for Talon, and they don't seem particularly pressed to press it or anything like that, right? They're waiting for perhaps that Gleipnir to be complete from the Nature's Prophet before they start any more moves. And Mikoto, what's he working on here? Echo Saber completed into the Aghanim's. It has an AD rune just wearing out and a shield rune pocketed, so, you know, who knows? Maybe he might look for some swashing.
You can definitely look for something here. Mars just finished a Blink Dagger. If you're not looking for something here, you've got a problem on Talon. You've got global TPs, every single one of your ultimates up. Let's get them to use, boys.
Okay. So plan now for Talon, I guess, is from what I'm hearing, is just to keep it going. Go, go, go. They see Lewis in the mid lane and it might be a dead Primal Beast, but the Shadow Demon behind, perfect little spear away. CML, he just can't reach with the disruption. That's exactly what you needed to prevent any defensive maneuvers from coming through. And they'll continue rolling forward. Snipe out. Disruption buying him some time. Can they make the return roll? Trying to pull him away with the Drinking Buddies, but now Mikoto right under the tower. It's a beautiful shackle shot onto 2. WS dropping low. The spear gonna buy him some time, but not away from the roll. Tino and Shanks head forward and knock him out with an uppercut. Now Talon, they've gotten quite a good trade already, right? 2 heroes for 1. Sure, WS dies, but it's still a decent blink reveal, and they'll settle with that. Talon back up.
Yeah, we saw Talon play with their food a little bit last series that they played up against Bruvs. This time around, yeah, they're not playing. They're playing, but they're playing for keeps this time around, right? No shenanigans where they overstay for 2 minutes or something like that. Just nice, clean Dota for Talon. They got an earful out. They got an earful after last game, you know.
Yeah, the past 2 hours while you guys were like queuing apart or watching the other regions, Highlight Dai had them all bent over and they were getting spanked. So just you know, that's the Talon experience. They were getting whipped back into shape. So nothing but discipline here, and nice to see from the guys, because I think it's still early on in the game. And even though you're feeling good on Mikoto, the last thing you want to do is maybe hand over Pangolier kill to Akari or maybe even Tino out of nowhere. If they get that big boost, it's going to be huge. But playing textbook here straight into the Roche pit, they have a high amount of physical damage and they use that to cut down Roche. Aegis for Mikoto means that he can just continue being as aggressive as he has been already.
Good news for Execration, though. Crimson Guard is complete on Tino, which is going to, like we said, cut down a lot of their damage. Only 2,200, I say only, it's 16 minutes into the game. Only 2,200 HP on the Earth Spirit, so maybe you still have the overwhelming amount of physical damage to go through it.
Yeah,
but it's all
EHP
small
that starts to get
instances.
annoying,
Right. It's aura diff right now, and that's kind of the problem with Mars. He's not really an aura builder. So you get a few auras onto Execration, and then all of a sudden the game gets a little bit harder for you.
Yeah, that's, as we see a huge fight here, I have to hold that thought. Akashi getting caught out, but really, who's catching who? There are 5 members of Talon ready to rumble, and Execration, both supports, smack down in a big way. I mean, you talked about aura diff, Crash, but for now, it doesn't really seem like any of the members of Talon are too concerned with auras at all. I mean, usually in a situation where you might see a sniper go something like a Solar Crest or maybe even a Force Staff, he's instead going for a Mage Slayer.
Nice. So, sort of transition to the sniper. You know, it's a utility item that helps you transition. Right? It's going to serve its purpose. It's going to give you magical damage or magical resistance. It's great to throw in the Earth Spirit, because if you can sit back and start, you know, quacking away, that ideal sniper gameplay is when you can just A-click the ground and go ham.
Bosco, pretty deep, trying to contest some vision here, but he's happy to use his body as a shield. Just put Snot out. Managed to grab the Primal Beast ultimate onto Mikoto. He still has that Aegis, but the roll-up available very early on. He should drop Bosku losing his life as well. Where are the rest of Talon though? Starting to close in. Can they finish off Mikoto in time? Get the silence off and the shackle. They're starting to layer disables. They need to get this Pango down. But here comes WS ready to save the day. The BKB force onto Akari, but shot straight in the head. Mikoto desperately trying to escape from this situation. Won't be so lucky this time. Lewis will find that kill. And this is what we were talking about, Talon overplaying their hand a little bit. The whip from Pilot Die clearly wasn't strong enough. As Tino continuing to roll, gets the connection and the kick back. And oh, they can just keep this one rolling. Nature's Prophet finally joining the fight with his Gleipnir. Will the damage be significant into the Crimson Guard? Enough to take down Lewis. And the arena up means that nowhere for these supports to run again. CML gets clapped. With the additional vision, oh, WS, he can just keep this one going. Tino is all locked up with no more mana to work with. Still has some launch charges coming up in a short bit, but he's getting quacked and getting killed. Talon end up in a team wipe, despite how rough that initial start to the fight looked.
Radiant.
Yeah, you kind of got to ask yourself the question, who overstayed who's welcome there? Execration, they go for one more kill onto WS, and they've overextended, and they paid for it. Just a beautiful arena from WS.
Oh, and Akashi, he's not done. Deep Ward spotting out Akari, and it's they just collapse in an instant. These early game respawn timers catching the Wind Ranger by surprise. And one thing about Akari, or some of you may know him as Karma, he is a very, very erratic carry player, to say the least, right? In the same way that we were talking about Bob, I feel like sometimes he shows up big time, and sometimes he ends up just kind of feeling a little bit like a liability. I don't think he's necessarily done anything wrong this game, but it's just like what we were saying. Even though he had a great lane, the tri lane ended up falling apart with Mikoto's rotations, and now he's at the point where he's not gotten the sheer amount of damage that he needs to cut through these heroes just yet.
I will miss my reflection.
I think if I'm Execration right now, I know you just got your BKBs, your Crimson Guards, your items. I'm taking a step back. I'm going to give the team a second to breathe, maybe get another item, and then start making engagements again. Look for pickoffs, small engagements, but 5-on-5 team fights, you're probably a little afraid to take at this point, especially because his Nature's Prophet just finished a BKB.
Alright. I mean, they can just keep this going here. CML, easy pickings. I mean, Talon, they've just done such a great job at swarming the Execration side of the map. You just kind of get the feeling that wherever you go, you're not safe. And once that starts to happen, that's where you stop making plays. That's where you stop looking for opportunities. And Execration, sooner rather than later, might find themselves herded back to a very small, marginal area of their side of the map.
I mean, even at this point, I don't know where you feel safe to farm, right? You've got a Nature's Prophet that can just be anywhere, everywhere, all at once.
Nasty
Can't
peeing in.
split up
They're trying to
too
get the
much,
initiation onto Akashi. Not enough of a slow. Just looking for the shackle, but it doesn't lash. Still can BKB TP out. Does he not have the mana? I guess he's worried about the power rise. Uh-oh. Speaking about the Nature's Prophet, we might have just Caster's cursed him. He goes down. That's a mega kill streak. And the rest of Talon looking a bit out of sorts. This is not a fight they can win. They just need to abandon the supports. And that is exactly what they'll do. Not much they can really divvy out of this situation. A little bit of an overstay there from Akashi. Lewis came in too quick for the BKB TP out to be fine. That is a huge chunk of change. That is the highest net worth hero in the game by a long margin. He ends up going down.
And that's the exact fight that Execration want to. Unfortunately, they'll probably lose Shanks here, but no, Drinking Buddy's away. He's fine.
Yeah, it's also awkward now because you got to keep in mind that this is a 2v, 4 or 5 attempt that Mikoto and WS are trying to pull here. Sure, they're really strong at the moment and there's fresh Aghanims on that Pangolier, but you got to make sure you're not falling into the same mistake that you did when you were playing up against Bruv. That good old 2 to 3 minute. For those of you who didn't watch the game, basically, Talon, very similar situation where they were dominating. Mikoto was playing a puck. He was basically unkillable. He had Linkins, they had limited control, but in a bot fight where they had already lost their carry and a couple of supports, they decided to stick around for like what felt like 2 to 3 minutes, and the puck ended up dying and giving over like almost like 800, 900 gold. So I think Talon, that memory is probably still fresh in their minds. They're going to try and play it chill, or at least we're hoping that they try and play it chill.
Radiant are scanning. Dire are scanning.
Execration's time to try and smoke now.
Yeah, maybe you
find
can
some sort
get
of
something here. The triangle is pretty much your only option. You don't want to dive a tier 1 tower for a Mars.
Dire are scanning.
Smoke out of their own.
Fully aware
Talon.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
they know that this is happening. They just all hugged the backside of that tier 1 tower, and now they're the ones on the move. Just very smart play, and I think this is what you need to do as a top tier team, right? You can't really... I feel like if you just still spread out like that, you're disrespecting your opponents and their ability to make a concerted move. And now it's your turn to strike. CML just gets instantly melted. Really decent recovery for the WS Mars, right? He's finished up that pipe for himself now.
And no longer are you going to be aura diffed, right? Mars has an aura of his own. It's not, you know, it's not a cool Crimson Guard against an all-physical lineup, but it's a nice pipe against a nice mix of damage from Execration that definitely lean on the magical side.
Ooh, Mikoto barely dodging that roll forward. Tino in some trouble. The drinking buddy's trying to pull him out of danger. Crimson Guard pop now. Talon, they want to be aggressive here, but Cuckoo? I don't really think you care about that. You're still grabbing Mikoto. Controlling the Pango is such a huge factor. And Akari starting to do a lot of damage with that crit stick. But getting shot down, saved for now. But WS huge arena. And he traps all of them in the fray. They can't see anything except for the bodies of their allies just falling beside them. Lewis, the last one to stand, but nice God's Rebuke stops him in his tracks. And now they can just kite the Primal Beast for days. More than enough damage to chop him down. And the only loss is Cuckoo. Everyone else on Talon very, very happy about that engagement.
WS deserves that triple kill. He earned it that fight with that beautiful arena. And honestly, that fight goes so well for Talon because both Akashi and Sniper were able to just sit there and blink away.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I mean, again, we're seeing the awkwardness of the Earth Spirit initiation. Once you miss out on that initial roll, it's not like you got any additional stone remnants to work with. You need to wait for that 4 seconds. And that really hampered him, just missing that initial jump. Because if he gets the kickback in the silence of Mikoto doesn't actually have any defensive way of getting out of that, right? The roll-up will be disabled. He could have sort of really put down the Pango before he could respond. It becomes a very different story, but right now the tail that we're seeing is one of 13k gold lead in Talon's favor at the 25-minute mark. They are continuing to dominate here. And with Roche respawning in 20 seconds, they're just going to head straight back into the pit, secure that second Aegis for themselves, and keep it rolling.
Yep, Talon are going to look to end out this game right here, right now. They have Mech on Bristleback, so they do have sustain for going high ground. But most importantly, they have an AC on the Nature's Prophet. An all-physical lineup with an AC looking to hit your buildings with a siege unit. It's perfect, right? It's simply the best item for the situation right now.
I still feel like we haven't really seen what the intention of this Earth Spirit was supposed to be, because we see glimpses of it with the initiations, but it doesn't necessarily scream to me as a great pairing with this team at the moment, and I'm still struggling to try and find out what Tino's idea is. We might have to try to put that on pause. Bosco valiantly dewarding. Here comes Mikoto. It's a perfect roll. It's a perfect arena. The disruption will buy time for the BKB to come up for Akari. Forced to pop it now, but a sniper shot right on his head. Snowball save. It's only momentary as everyone else on Execration has to run. Yo's up, but Akashi's right there to greet them. Tino, nowhere for you to go. As another 4-member smackdown. Talon lose absolutely nothing. The barreling on continues. Aegis wasn't even needed in that situation. Hey, they might just go high ground. They might just get 1 or 2 racks. Who cares?
There is a world they get 2 racks here. It's going to cause one more fight from Execration, but it's still looking right now insanely good for Talon, if not completely secured. They're going to back up in Roche, respect their opponents, right? They're up in 20, less than 20 seconds. So go back, go take the Roshan, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and then go again. Nullifier will be built up on Akashi. If they don't want to go right away, they still have that timing to back up on.
Oh, the Nullifier is going to be so good into the Crimson Guard and the Pipe, man. Like, just being able to rip that up immediately. And there we go. Roche, Aegis grabbed by Akashi. Now he can teleport a lot more freely without any worry. And yeah, I mean, Crash, everything working out the way that we would hope for Talon if you're a Talon fan. I mean, you were talking about the sniper support, you know, maybe falling off if he builds utility. Nope, he just went straight into damage. The Dragon Lance and the Enchanted Quiver in his inventory. And everything working out well. I mean, hell, even the Bristleback has a completed Greaves at this point. So one additional aura to slap on top of the pile. Nothing really to complain about with how they've maneuvered this game. An Aether Lens freshly picked up by the Mars just for that additional cast range for the Yules, perhaps. Out on the hunt again, smoking up Talon. Ready to put a lid on this game number 1 and put Execration 1 game down.
I wonder if they just send it on the high ground. They do.
Yeah, CML again, just the complete target. I mean, you talk about it being a classic for him. Well, I didn't really get to see him play much of it just because of how much he's been singled out. Not really a fault of his, it's just unfortunate that Talon just have so much sheer momentum going for them that they can just barrel into you like that, kill you off. And there's nothing much that your teammates can do. In fact, I'm wondering what exactly Execration's plan is. Because Lewis is still farming in the top lane. He has finally finished that Aghanims, maybe that's what they were waiting for, but they're already losing so much on the map. Roll coming through. Bosco, he's in the middle of 4 heroes. He doesn't care at all. He might die for this, but he has sacrificed for the greater good. He'll even buy back Akashi TPing forward. The curse of the old grove slowing everyone down. They have that fountain, so Talon, they don't want to get too aggressive here, but Akashi actually going to turn around, pop the BKB, start laying in some damage. Tino has already died, going to be able to buy back Yokum. Just pummeled down. Yeah, sure, you're a sniper with some damage, but that still doesn't help you against Primal Beast. Mikoto still in the fight, trying to do damage. But Execration with the fountain buyback advantage. They are starting to claw ahead here in this engagement. Now it's Akashi the one in trouble. His BKB is already used and he's surrounded by 4 members. Where the rest of Talon busy getting killed off. Tino, I mean Mikoto, we were looking for him in the entire fight, but he's just been controlled left low and he doesn't have that second life privilege, so all he can do is roll around and hope for the best. Can he do enough damage here to at least make it even? He'll kill off Akari, and now it's time for him to try and escape. Can't double jump up to the high ground, but gets a nice friendly bump from Lewis. The question is whether Mikoto can play his way out of this one. He's done it once before. Here comes WS with the buyback into the outpost that they've captured. The roll-up buying him some time, Mikoto. Now the swashbuckle to the low ground. They're still trying to find an angle, trying to find this Pangolier, and with the roll, they will finally kill him off. Now WS the one in trouble. Yokum can try and TP in and join this fight, but Talon, we've seen this story before. One of them overcommitting, one of them getting a bit too overzealous. And Execration is the costliest hold that they will have this game, but they still manage to hang on.
At the end of the day, Sneeze, the game is Defense of the Ancients, and they've done it. They lose 2 racks, but they finally get a fight handedly that goes their way. And honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with how many people were caught in Arena. I know it's a little crazy to say, but the Arena was too big, right? When you get 4 heroes in Arena like that, and it's just a Bristleback Mars, you're literally not doing anything, you know? Like, you're literally just standing there watching them.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectation is that 2 of your ranged quote-unquote carries, Akashi and Sniper, will be blinking away, but it was just a bit of miscommunication. It seemed like Tino had... We weren't able to see that part of the fight, but it seemed like Tino had their hands full, right? He just completely messed them up a little bit. Somehow Mikoto's just very low, probably from the Magnetize. So maybe this is the idea with the Earth Spirit. You're able to just split up the fight and be that nuisance in the front that's pretty hard to take down in his singularity. I mean, Talon, they can't be sort of... letting their guard down now, not for sure. I mean, 2 racks down, sure, that's a really good advantage to have, but now it's Execration, the ones on the front foot, the ones with the initiative. The Aghanim Scepter from the Primal Beast doing a lot of work as well. Keep in mind, it's a break that will flatten the Bristleback. Link forward. We found Bosco again. Not really the target that you want, but an easy one to grab, and now trying for the punish. That's a dieback on the Bristleback, the Rolling Thunder in Mikoto. It's a really good spot for him to keep them controlled. Akari doesn't want to pop the BKB just for this reason, but dropping low now, forced to use it. Mikoto's still chasing them down. Oh, did she try and TP out? They didn't get the bash. He bashed Tino instead, and that put the Skull Bash out on cooldown. That is unfortunate. It looks like Lewis popping his own BKB, breaking the mask. Will at least be able to get the Primal Beast, but that's all they find. I say that, but Kashi has TP'd forward. Very heads-up play, looking for Tino. Should still be a second roll forward. The mask, oh, just narrowly missing out on clipping the Earth Spirit. Talon?
I think you could have thrown
60
Spear
seconds
a little
about
earlier.
Lewis. Yeah, perhaps, but it's a bit of a flurry, and now this is an opening, right? The Primal Beast being down, you can still try and push for that final lane.
BKBs are down as well, most importantly the wind, no BKB. An unfortunate bash that hit onto Tino instead of the wind, but it happens. Can't really harp on that one too hard.
Onto the high ground they go. Bosku again. He doesn't really care about it. He's 4 bracered up on a nice Saturday evening. You know what I mean? This is the life. I mean, I wonder whether bracers being so strong just enables any strength hero or universal hero to be a support. Tino rolling in now, WS looking for the connection, and they find the Wind Ranger. She has a buyback though, but already the rest of Execration falling. CML forced to use his as well. Now Lewis is coming back in 5 seconds, so they need to seal the deal quick. Tino still very tanky, and the Whirlwind has begun, but the Yules to kite them out. Double spear. WS has that shot, but now Lewis jumping in, beautiful concussive grenade, stopping up that charge. And then Hurricane Pike as well, they're just pushing the beast away. Stay back, stay back. We don't want you playing around with their food. Lewis is just gonna go down. Baiting him out a little bit. He was so desperate to try and make something happen for his team that he ends up falling for the bait. WS, right when he thinks he's still trying to get chased. This ends the deal. Akari finally popping that BKB and the Whirlwind, but can't stand up to the plink, plink, plink of Yokum. It really does feel like more than just a support diff, it's an entire team diff. Execration just can't stand up to Talon. So many signature heroes for each of these players, it's no surprise that they end up in this conclusion, but definitely a few moments where Execration could have exploited Talon's over-aggression. And I think we're gonna have ourselves a pretty even series. Yeah, let's not do. All things considered, not the biggest of deals.
No, it's not at all.
I just
Remember when people
do
used to do that? Oh,
shout out John X Fire, man. Love that guy and the voice lines. So funny. I kind of I was on the fence about buying his one. I still haven't gotten it yet. So far, the only one I've gotten is Winter's one, the one about Durian and Dota2 being a stinky combo, or something like that, and the Cinderan Skull, but that's because that's also funny and also culturally appropriate for the Copenhagen TI.
yeah.
Did you get any of the Talon voice lines?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Sneeze. I'm a little poor boy. I haven't gotten any. I even had my compendium gifted to me. I have not spent too much money on the TI this time around, but I am getting close to an Aegis just by playing. I am gonna sprinkle in some money, you know, a little bit later into the compendium as well as these voice lines. Eyeing up the liquid ones. I'm eyeing up, like you said, Suns Fan Sind ones as well. The winter one is really good too. First blood potential.
Talon are the ones being eyed up right now. Shanks running forward with the Expander Armature, but it's a lot of damage from those shrapnels. You gotta watch it, Jokum. It's no longer that spell that just slows you a little bit. It is lethal. And they get first blood on Tino. That is huge. And Shanks, he's gonna eat an unstable concoction. They can keep it going. A secondary crush. And a second kill. Mikoto the one to grab it now. That is perhaps as good of a start as you could ask for.
I don't think it gets much better than that, actually. I mean, it could be a full team wipe for Talon, but realistically, that's as good as it gets. Taking down the Visage, making sure your SF gets a kill as well. Sets up the lane very nicely now. You do have the one problem in the Talon lane, and this is such a minor problem, but, you know, just for the sake of saying it, I'll say it. Jokum's going to lane with 0 shrapnel charges, which means the first lane is going to be pretty free. Or the first wave, rather, is going to be pretty free. Second wave, you know, things might turn around a little bit, but that third wave is going to be very, very scary when those shrapnel charges come back.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what Yokum can do. For now, the Ironwood Treant is giving him a taste of his mind. This what is that model? Like it has a horn and everything. Honestly, looks terrifying. If that thing walked up to me in the middle of the night, I would probably burst into tears.
That's like a rhinoceros beetle mixed with a treant. It's like a pine tree rhinoceros beetle, I think.
Yeah, that's actually a very accurate description. Thank you for that, Crash. That
I got you. Well, you asked me what you asked me what I give you you an answer. I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah, perfect. If only the world worked so simply. This is why I love casting with you, Omi.
I'm very simple.
Let's
thank you.
let's see how the lanes are gonna go. So you already talked about that interaction in the bot lane about how no shrapnel charges, it's gonna be a little bit rough, but CML should always be able to use that Treant and just beat the shit out of the Talon offlane duo. Is there any kill potential, you reckon, between WS and Yokum onto, say, Akari or CML at any point, or you think they're just gonna trade farm?
Not yet. Level 3 will be a really big timing. So Yokum might be in a weird position where he's gonna have his 3 shrapnel charges and be like halfway between 2 and 3. And you're like, oh, I really want to wait until my level 3 to use these, but then you're once again not doing anything for a whole wave. So you're a little bit in a trapped position here. Lewis and Makoto might die. One stinger? No.
I don't know who's dying. Lewis, he took advantage of the fact that Mikoto had already thrown out some of those razors to put on the pressure, and that's exactly what you need to do. Early doors here though, Tino and Shanks, I mean, Shanks is healthy and Tino is suffering, and that's not really the dynamic you want. You want that vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know. Shanks just feels like he's not doing his job right now. And maybe it's Cuckoo doing such a good job on the Batrider, phasing out Shanks, and not even necessarily trading blows with them, but just making it so that he can't walk up. Now we're starting to see those blows being traded, and Cuckoo's got to be careful.
That honestly was so weird to me, because I think Cuckoo is going to go down here, but that initial soul assumption didn't really have a lot of damage on it. CML with the TP in, gets a kill on Mikoto, taking advantage of how aggressive that SF was playing, and a brilliant rotation from the Nature's Prophet. You were talking about how gankable the SF was. Looks like CML heard you a little bit.
I didn't expect it to be the Nature's Prophet by himself, but hey, whatever gets the job done. I would still very much like to see this Clockwork make a rotation, but it's kind of hard now with how hard the lane's going for Tino. You don't really want to leave him alone.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, with the whole Bosku dying thing, I don't think it's necessarily that big of a deal, because Tino has just expended his entire mana pool, and it's not slowing Akashi down, right? Sure, he's not leading in terms of the CS, but like we know with Alchemist, it's, the slight differences in CS are marginal, because you get that back with Greevil's Greed anyway, so you're not too sad about that.
Level 3 and immediate aggression onto Akari.
Yeah, you called it, Crash. I mean, this you're goddamn prophet. You just waited until they had the shrapnel charges. Akari thinking that he could get all nice and comfortable, doing some damage to the tower, but bam, Crash prophecy. Weren't you listening?
Comes to fruition. Yeah. Maybe they were, and maybe that's why it happened, Sneeze. Maybe this is all part of the script that the Dota gods have written for us.
Well, Talon, I think we had initial concerns about their lineup being a bit too greedy, but for now they are doing okay. Well, I say that Bosku is just getting obliterated. Akashi finds himself stuck under the tower. Nice rotation from CML. It looks like the Alchemist is going to go down. He's just, dude, he's just sticking around trying to hit some creeps, get some last bit of gold before he's gone. But so far, the supports on Execration are doing a stellar job after that rough, just kind of initial rune fight.
Yeah, Shanks did what I like to call the old snatch and kill, the old snatch strategy. Snatch him under the tower, because expanded armature has a decent range around it, a full potential. Hold that thought, bottom lane, Akashi.
Hang on, Akari. Uh-oh. No, that's not the... Hey, actually, I just realized, yeah, both
Yeah,
Both carry names are like
don't
so
get me
damn
started.
similar. What the?
Every single
I
time
wish
I'm
you
trying
didn't
to
tell
say
me.
either of their names. I'm so sorry.
Here comes WS. Knows exactly where CML is and can just keep this ball rolling. Easy kills. So, I mean, both these teams having their fair share of aggression, and you love to see it. I think the main concern for me is the fact that Mikoto, he is doing well in terms of the net worth and CS into Lewis, but he hasn't really been able to stop Lewis from getting his levels and his own farm as well, right? And this Sand King, as long as he can survive, he can power farm up on the stacks in the jungle, and it can become a really big problem for the SF later down the line.
Supports are coming in mid, all of them pretty much. Everyone but Shanks.
Okay. Another tussle in the mid lane trying to contest for the rune. Invis, snatched up by Lewis. Throwing down some sentries, but Bosco, you are in so deep, brother. I mean, surely there's no way he gets out of this one. Nice little cogs push, putting the bat in a horrendous position. I mean, half of the battle was won when he just walked up all the way in himself, but still,
Yeah.
good kill to find.
I mean, you kind of have to be the hero to sort of walk in as the Batrider, especially right now. Right? No Slardar to walk in for you, no Alchemist. It's your job. SF ain't gonna do it, Sniper ain't gonna do it. And unfortunately, that gank ain't gonna do it either.
I'm not really sure whether this is what you want, but with Tino in the area and CML TPing in, the aggression continues. Both these teams not letting up for an instant. And it feels like it's very heavily directed by the supports on both sides, the conductors of this mad train ride that they're dragging the cause into. I don't know though. You need to tell me, Crash. Who do you think is currently in the driver's seat? Who do you think has the advantage from all this messiness across the map?
I mean, part of me wants to favor the Visage draft, and a lot of it, in my opinion, just has to do with the unknown factor of the Slardar to me. I understand WS very good on the hero. I understand the strengths of the hero as well. I don't know like how he fits into the meta, and if it just turns out that, you know, he gets his Blink Dagger and does nothing, and then all of a sudden the hero, you know, what have you picked him for? He's not going to build auras, that's for sure.
Ooh, Bosco. He's just a small margin away from having broken the smoke, but instead they're going to find Mikoto, the much bigger kill, and the SF is going to go down. Great execution from Execration. They are... I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I would favor this Visage draft because they got the profit. They want to sort of start bashing down these towers and limiting the space that the Alc and SF can farm. You mentioned at the start that this is a very greedy lineup that needs quite a bit of gold to work, and just the heroes themselves don't really offer much to the equation. Talon. And have gotten a bit too greedy here with their hero selections. Starting to pressure the mid tower now.
They desperately need 6 on this Batrider. Both Batrider and Clockwork really need their level 6s right now. But Cuckoo is going to do his best to try to farm it up, as once again aggression coming into the Alchemist top.
Yeah. This is an easy trade so far. 2 for 2 as Talon bring in the full forces. They're able to get at least a bit of a return. Looks like Lewis was the one who had to try and dive in there to finish off Akashi. Gets the job done, but pays for his life as a result. I mean, on one end, this still is very much Execration favored, the fact that they're able to get so much action done. But Talon, I think they're being very smart about bringing the numbers to respond, because that's all they really can do. Quick blink away, WS not going to be caught by that attempt from CML as well.
No way, they're bringing everyone mid.
Okay. Not again, Mikoto. Someone help him. Caught up by the trees, and a second barrel strike. Lewis, as soon as he respawns, he comes back in for another kill. They're just keeping this rolling. Execration. They're like ants swarming a piece of food on the ground. No mercy and no rest at all. Just keeping it going here. And Talon, they just don't have the chops to stand up to Execration at this point in the game.
Yeah, you're nowhere near ready, right? All of your heroes minus Slardar aren't ready to fight. Even the Batrider, not level 6, not ready to fight. Cuckoo's gonna need to do his best, put his farming pants on, and get that level 6 ASAP.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has
Maybe a
fallen.
little wraparound from Talon? No. They're not willing. Even though Makoto gets a DD rune, they're not willing. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is you're fighting into a Visage with drums, right? And all you really have on the Slada is the blink that we saw was revealed earlier on. So I'm not really sure whether you're confident. I kind of feel like the MO for Talon has to be just dodge these engagements as much as possible, right? Bosku able to escape death in the top lane.
Scanning.
Looks like they won't chase any further.
But still, you force him out, you've used hook shot, that's cool, good and cool and all. But Bat Rider's still not level 6. You've wasted more of his time. It's going to take now maybe another minute until he hits that 6.
Okay, so what are you thinking? What are you thinking is the move here? So Bat Rider hits 6, like Bosku gets his lasso. Then they smoke, and who is he lassoing? Because the entire Execration lineup is all going to be sort of stuck together, right? And we might just see
Good
an
question.
engagement.
If you can
You
get a
have to
pick
hold your
on
thoughts
Lewis,
here.
that would be a good start.
Okay, starting out with the crush. Lewis dropping low, able to bounce strike back to safety. Shanks doing a great job holding the rest of Talon at bay, but Akashi joining the fray means that this clockwork is likely going to die. It's a worthy sacrifice, and a support's duty done well. Now WS, he's still hunting for more, but he's very far ahead of his team, so he'll just bide his time and back up. But yeah, this is a good start, right? Bosku finally has his lasso, like you mentioned. We'll have to keep an eye out for how he chooses to use that.
You know what, Sneeze? I've got some word eating to do. I just want to be open, clear, and honest with you. I apologize, WS. I assumed Slardar wasn't going to build auras, and here we are, Pipe of Insight being built up on the Slardar. Jump in immediately onto this Visage. Tino, no chance of surviving.
That's a great grab. I'm not really sure how they found him so low, but WS on the chase. CML, they're just refreshing this Assassinate to keep the vision. Very cute plays from Yokum. Won't be able to stop the Prophet from trying to TP out. So this is what we were hoping for from the Slada. This is exactly what you imagine your Slada is supposed to be doing once he gets his Blink Dagger, but that's rarely the case, and it's rarely optimized like this. He's been part of so many kills since he's picked that up, and they've managed to kind of claw it back a little bit in their favor, at least stabilize and allow Mikoto to farm quietly and safely.
Now you've got your Radiance on Alchemist. Maybe, you know, a little, just a tad delayed. It's not gonna hamper anything else towards his game. Maybe your Blink Dagger is delayed by like 15-30 seconds. Yippee! I don't think that's a big enough opening for Execration to take an advantage.
Back and forth we go. It's kind of like you're at a shisha place. They're passing the smokes back and forth, taking turns. Taking down the tower. Yeah, Talon, they have completely vacated this area unless Mikoto. He is just standing at the tier 3. He doesn't want to inch up. Doesn't see a single hero on the map and knows he might be a target of aggression. Bosku will find a tree and find some illusions. It's looking a little weird now. Talon, alarm bells are ringing, but is it going to be enough? They're going to come forward, try and contest for the Wisdom Rune. It's a very nicely timed situation for Execration, as they'll kill the Bat Rider, take the Wisdom Rune, and establish control of this area. Meta pop though on Akari, so he wants to pressure this tier 2 tower down. Talon, are they just going to give this up?
Looks like it. They're just not ready yet. They're still not ready. Pretty much the only heroes that are ready, one of them's been killed. So you really want to take a 2v5? Is that the play you really want to be making right now as Talon, even though you're, you know, slightly ahead on your Alchemist and behind on everyone else? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in my mind, I just thought Yokum would come to shoot a couple of shrapnel shots down, clear the creep wave, at least, you know, hinder them a little bit. But I guess it really is no contact at all for Talon as much as possible. It's a shame they lose that Wisdom Rune though, because that's going to put Yokum and Cuckoo in an even worse spot EXP-wise. They've already been struggling thus far, and I mean, it's going to be tough for these supports because it's not like there are kills that they are part of that's going to help them amplify their experience gain as well.
Yeah, 15 minutes and these supports are sitting at level 6 and 7. It's not good. Lewis, you're gonna not good.
Oh, gets caught out. Assassinate to keep the vision again, but where's the follow-up? Hook shot just a little bit too short. Can't quite find the Slardar. Won't hook him up this time.
You know, I feel like if models were like the correct size and Slardar's tail had a hitbox, that hook shot totally would have landed. But
Yeah.
not the case, so WS is able to slither on out, just barely, but still. You can't miss too many more of those. Right? Any sort of kill you let slip by you can start snowballing, right? Execration, they need to keep getting kills, they need to keep getting towers. They can't let Talon just rest.
Yeah, I mean, for them now, they've done a good job in terms of securing the items for at least their carry. Manta style complete for Akari, who was the subject of aggression in the earlier stages of the game. Blink Dagger completed on Lewis. Looks like he is actually going directly for an Aghanims instead of a Bloodstone. And everyone's bracered up. There is your Pipe of Insight complete for Tino as well. So all the necessary auras and major items, Provisors, galore on Shanks and CML. This is what you expect from the team, and once you know, you have that Solar Crest up and running, you can only imagine that Execration are probably going to waltz into Roche, grab that first Aegis, and keep the push going.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I would assume so. Alright. Sneeze, BKB has been picked up on the Alchemist. Now you go for Talon. Someone's making the call to lead the charge. And so they will.
Yeah, but this is really telling. The fact that Mikoto is showing on the lane like this, I'm sure that Execration are fully aware that this is a bit of a bait play. Spot up Shanks, blink forward, nice double crush from WS to start things out. Akashi, it's about who he can connect on in this fight. Shanks still doing a good job helping his team keep the distance, dropping very low on the Slardar already. Ends up giving up his life, but the Requiem from a far distance not really doing a lot of damage, but Akashi, he's the one to get the job done. Trying to finish off Lewis, can't find that just last unstable concoction. The Sand King was able to slip out. And just with that alone, it looks like Talon have carved enough of a space on the map for themselves to just occupy this top area, clear out maybe some of the vision, and force Execration back.
If Talon were a little bit more healthy, this could have been a Roche fight for them too. CML is going to try to kill off WS by himself.
Well, Joker was there, but who knows? It's a little bit awkward. I mean, they still have full vision of this Sand King. Oh, sorry, the Nature's Prophet. Now, speaking of Sand King, he's here trying to kill off Akashi, who is took the Twin Gates down here to farm, not respecting the early respawns. Execration collapse on him and kill the Alchemist. That is a very rare mistake, an individual mistake from Akashi, for sure.
Yeah, that was a choice of all time, let me tell you. I can't imagine gating like that when everyone's about to respawn, but it's just an oversight, right? It happens. Let it sink in for a brief moment, understand your mistake, and then move on from it. You kind of have to in these sorts of games.
I'm pretty sure he felt confident about his position just because of the aggressive ward that they showed they had in the bot sort of part of the jungle. Once again, an attempt onto Sand King, but Shanks doing a good job again, just being that body on the front lines. I mean, Shanks dying literally means nothing to Execration, right? It's completely fine. His respawn is low, low cooldown. He's done his job in terms of preserving Lewis and Shanks multiple times. So,
yeah, you know, Clockwork is definitely one of those heroes that you can have a high, like, KD or a low KDA on, and still feel like you've had a lot of impact. Right? Just hookshotting in and dying. If you get your abilities off, you've done your job.
oh, absolutely. And I think Shanks, if I had to sort of elect one person on Execration who's doing the best in this game, it would be him and CML, right? They're the ones who have been directing a lot of the aggression, like I mentioned in the early game. But unfortunately, caught out is CML. Lewis with a beautiful epicenter setup, though, will kill WS. They get the D-Ward and they get the 2 kills on the main members of Talon who would enable further aggression. Shanks still has a hook shot. He's looking for more. If he can find this Alchemist, that would be huge. Creeps blocking him for now. Can they get the angle? He's gonna find it perfectly. He didn't even have any vision. That was just guesswork, tracking down this guy, forcing the BKB out. That is not a good look, but a necessary one, as Akashi doesn't want to die a second time here.
And look what they ping out on Execration just as the 20 minutes rolls around. It's time for the Tormentor.
even chose
What
to
a
stick
shard
around
to
a little
get,
bit
too.
more for this. Oh, who? Oh, Tino.
Tino gets
okay.
it. So that's a big shard.
Radiant's middle
Yeah,
tower
for those of
is
you
under
who
attack.
aren't aware what that does, essentially, you can basically... Okay, gotta hold that thought. Looks like there's more action happening. Ah, man. You just don't rest. Akari now, the one to sort of slip up in the mid lane, just showing and getting a bit too comfortable.
I mean, no one expects the Batrider Blink Dagger. What can you do? You know?
True. The Bat Rider down in the dirt, net worth Blink Dagger out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's fair. It took him a while to get here, for what it's worth.
I mean, totally fair, right? It's a 5 Batrider. Who would expect quick farming from the 5 Bat? Shanks, Yokum knew someone was farming this area. And was that ward just in sentry range? Who knows? But with TB being dead, this does open up Roshan for Talon. I'm surprised they didn't try to take it while it was top. Oh, just out of sentry range. Very nice place by Sniper. Continue to scout out with the rocket flares, but it might be too little too late unless a snatch? No. Good try.
Yeah, that's never... I mean, I don't know whether the Clockwork ever is going to do that. So far, he's thrown his body in for more noble purposes, so he's got to keep his death rate up to logical degrees, you know? I mean, he's only going to throw it in for a homie.
I mean, is stealing an Aegis not, you know, incredibly valuable in this game?
Yeah, but I don't know whether that's going to happen. You got to keep in mind, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, he's still level 1 hook shot, so the cast range isn't long enough.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can dream, Sneeze. I wouldn't, you know, Clockwork can dream. The Aegis snatches, I feel like, are a Clockwork stream. That's why they gave him Jetpack.
Yeah, of a longer... Yeah, true. Jetpack that he doesn't have yet because he's poor.
No,
I see
why
where
would
you're-
why
I
would
see
he have
where you're
Jetpack?
going with it.
No.
Yeah.
But I changed my mind.
Okay.
Jetpack is specifically just there to steal Aegises, and that's the hill I will die on.
Okay, well, I'll let you stay on that hill by yourself as I
Thank
walk
you.
away and refocus on this game a little bit here.
I appreciate it.
Despite the Aegis grab, less than 1k gold lead, so nothing too significant. Execration have done a good job keeping up so far on all 3 of their cores. WS hasn't really fully recovered, but he's playing with the team and it doesn't really matter so much.
Radiant's top tower
It's
is
worth
falling.
noting that despite the amount of space that's being created on Execration's side, Akari hasn't really been able to garner the same level of net worth as the members of Talon, right? And Grievo's greed has one part to play in it, and Mikoto just kind of being a beast is probably the other. But they, at some point, they're gonna need this Terrorblade damage to come through, and I don't know when that's gonna be. DP's to the bot lane now, trying to chase away Lewis. They found him. Oh, WS quick with the jump. Smacks down the Sand King. Very nice pick off.
And they could go for another fight here. Pretty much everyone in Execration's in this area. Anyone is willing to get caught out by Talon here. CML, TP away, he's out.
Yeah, nicely done. I kind of feel like with this Aegis, you can possibly take either the mid or tier 2. Yeah, sure enough, the lines are drawn. Mikoto wants to get it rolling. Tino trying to TP out. Oh, Akashi just now catches a glimpse of him. A little bit too late on the Saber Concoction. But heads up play from Tino. I think he probably felt the Radiance burn just a little bit and just immediately TP'd out because he knew his life was going to be in danger. Now, Akari's doing a good job being very annoying with these illusions and just cutting the creep wave, preventing the push from coming through and delaying Precious time on this Aegis. 2.5 minutes left to be precise.
Alright, we see a smoke here being purchased from Execration. I wonder if they really want to take this fight. I can't imagine an Aegis push is something that you're really feeling right now. Especially if you get picked off on CML.
Yeah, CML, he's been farming in these sort of corner areas of the map for quite a while now. Bosku taking quite a bit of damage because of the old growth though. He's actually just going to get clicked down. Last bit of fire damage with the flame break. Crush. It's there. Bosku will be able to narrowly escape in the sub-diff voice line, of course.
It's the Gossamer Cape difference right there, Sneeze. That was the only reason that
True.
you survived there on the Batrider.
Yeah, that's a great shout. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, that item, I love getting it on any support that I play because I feel like the cores are always trying to like 3-4 hit you and then they walk away before they're done. And suddenly you're just alive on like 200 HP.
Yes, I agree. I'm a big fan. Dude, I played it against an Earthshaker the other day. It feels so good against Earthshaker specifically too. Comes in with a big enchant totem hit and he whiffs the first one and then he walks away like, I did my job.
Yeah. Now, Talon, it looks like this Aegis will be expiring without them having really done much of it. Mikoto is trying to juice it as much as he can to finish off this tier 2. At the very least get that. The question is whether Talon, independent of this Aegis, still feels strong enough to take some of these fights. With the way that they're positioning, it seems like the answer is yes. And even though Execration have done a pretty good job in terms of splitting the map, Mikoto has become monstrous, right? He has Solar Crest, he has so much DPS and steroids on him. He's gonna start going to town here. Got into Akashi. The initiation, a little bit awkward. I mean, it's just to scare them away while CML continues to rat, I guess. But WS with a quick TP back. It's not going to be in time to stop the Nature's Prophet from getting back to safety. So, the push and the pull resumes again as Mikoto, his Aegis is going to time out right about now. And that's exactly when Execration choose to try and strike.
Will be a 4v5 because CML can't quite join just yet. Might have teleport off cooldown by the time the engagement breaks out. It might all amount to nothing.
Eggs on Sand King, Skadi on the Terrorblade. This is the time to go, but your Metamorphosis is just run out. And that window feels like it's just shut. Talon, very good awareness. It feels so bad to say good discipline from Talon, because I feel like the entire reason why they haven't stomped both series so far is because of lapses in discipline, right? Like getting a bit too overextended. But there are moments like this where you're reminded just how high caliber this team can play. They know exactly what to do. They're following a flowchart, you know what I mean? It's just, in some moments of zaniness, they lose the plot a bit. Find Lewis. Lasso calling for help here. Mikoto, oh my goodness, the damage! Not a single armor item on that Sand King, and he just gets torn asunder.
Yes, sir. This is getting scary, especially when you realize that there was no acid spray, no corrosive haze, right? There was nothing other than just an SF wailing on you.
Yeah, and SF's gonna do that a lot. Just his whole job in this game is to wail them to no end. So, I mean, you got a lot of armor on the TB and you're hoping that that tides you through, but for now, yeah, I think we still haven't really seen the TB get much done in terms of the overall game.
Yeah, that's fair to say. It's been very quiet. AC complete on Akashi. It's these buildings should melt, right? Presence of the Dark Lord plus AC. I don't care how much armor your damn Terrorblade has. There's no way he has enough armor to last through all of this Midas armor.
Yeah, we'll be putting that to the test very shortly. His Talon still hesitant, it seems like, to really force anything further than the tier 3s. I want to try and answer these lanes. I think, look, we talk about the Terrorblade not necessarily having the most impact, but I think what he's done very well in is manipulating these waves, because he has really stopped a lot of Talon's attempted pushes just by dragging the creeps back.
Dire are scanning.
Yeah, it hasn't been anything too crazy either, right? He doesn't even need to use his actual body. And he's not really cutting the waves either. He's just pulling them back, delaying them a little bit. And that is more than enough right now. Hidden on their high ground, Execration just... No, they know something's up. They're not willing to do anything right now.
Baited a bit by illusion, a bit of a smart play from Akari there. He mixes in a Manta-style illusion with the regular reflections. And, I mean, they fall for it. That's a smoke pop, but they find CML again. Sneaky little split pusher will get punished.
They're looking for stragglers on Execration. Not a lot of buybacks on Radiant.
initiation. Onto Akashi, no chance to pop the BKB seemingly for now, but there's the chemical rage and he's starting to heal up big time. They just don't have the damage to punch through him even with the Scar E. And that's your initiation with a little bit. There is an AD rune on the Terrorblade and that's gonna stop Talon from wanting to chase for anything more than that. I mean, that...
Well, especially with Akashi's
like
BKB.
a 4v5 there.
Yeah. Yeah, without the BKB on Akashi, you're wanting to just chill out a little bit. Roshan, he's going to be up in 20 seconds. A pretty darn quick respawn timer on the old Roche. And a lot of the reasons that Akashi was able to stay alive there was because of the pipe and the Crimson Guard, right? Was able to survive long enough, just long enough, to get that BKB off.
Yeah, auras on the Slardar. You don't expect it, but it's exactly what you need. And I mean, he's
Radiant's
kind of
bottom
gone for the more
tower is
defensive
under
facet
attack.
as well in the grind guard, right? Further increasing his own armor every time he corrosive hases someone. So he's going to become a very effective frontliner for the squad, which is exactly what they need from him. Looks like Bosco's on the hunt for anyone trying to split push again, but they ping him out. CML seems to know he's there, but not going to make any move as a result. The Roche has just taken. Akashi comes through the Twin Gates. Nice little familiar drop, trying to help the Sand King get out, but gets fully spotted by those shrapnels and will just get chopped apart. Lewis to fall.
You had to go.
And that's no buyback 50 seconds. This is what feels like the second, maybe third time that Lewis has gotten caught out in a very similar position.
I think it's just tough because we talk about at the end of game one, we said Execration, they were given some opportunities by Talon, and there were moments where it felt like they could have made it happen, but they similarly fumbled the bag. This time round, Talon are running a very tight ship. Like, these opportunities are not appearing by themselves, and Execration aren't exactly making any opportunities for themselves either, right? A couple of hook shots, initiations with not the right target, maybe you're getting one or two supports, who cares? Mikoto, Akashi, they're still looking amazing right now. Now they're looking at your tower.
Radiant's top tower.
There's no one really you want to hook shot this game. Nothing feels too good. Maybe the sniper, but other than that...
Roche Banner coming out to protect these creeps. Tino's got to watch his bursts. They are going down quick. Oh, the epicenter being channeled. Is it Lewis's time to go? Only gets one with the barrel strike. Hookshot follow-up. Runs into some familiars. That's not what you want, but here comes WS with the crush. Lewis is just gone. The Sand doesn't stand a chance. And Mikoto in the middle with a huge Requiem. They pull back Tino. The Gravekeeper's Cloak gonna save him for now, but now they're onto the Terrorblade. He's just losing so much HP. Where's your armor? Melted! And Execration, they go splat. Talon, this is over. 20k gold lead, just a perfectly executed minus armor drop. The patience plays off. This is the Talon that we expected. I feel like I've been saying that at the end of every game today. A bit of shakiness, but at the end of the day, still a team that's very clearly a caliber above the competition.
I'm putting on my Slardar hat, Sneeze. I